A One Chunk Ironman is not your typical playstyle of old school RuneScape. Massive grinds, excruciating methods, and some serious satisfaction with each task completed. As we unlock the world of Gielinor one chunk at a time, our motivation differs from most. Unite the Great Kourend. There's a ton of phenomenal old school RuneScape videos on YouTube. This is not one of them. What's up, you goofballs? Welcome back. We spent a lot of time fishing. A lot. I told you the next time you'd see Jose, he'd be quite the angler, and that is certainly the case as we have built up from 30 to 76 fishing since the last video. 1,323,080 experience achieved, mostly standing in this scenic spot, and pacing up and down the Hobgoblin Peninsula. However, we managed to get into a few other shenanigans in the process. The genie paid us a visit on mobile, so we had to hang on to this lamp for a while, but there was no chance I was going to miss the big milestone of level 4 Hunter. Once again back spending some time with the Master Farmer to replenish our supply of seeds, but also bring in 53 thieving. Our next lamp came in the same inventory that we fished up an elite clue scroll. A nice little change of pace to the monotony of endless trout and salmon. Golden warblers beware, because we've now got level 5 Hunter. Another mime event gave us the lamp that would bring us to level 6 Hunter. During one of our farming runs, we managed to receive our first Hespori seed. The farming guild is not too far away, so I definitely think there will be some Hespori slaying in store for us in the future. During our grind, we were fortunate enough to be dropped in by another chunker, who at this point, we are in very similar stages in our journeys, staring the same time-consuming chunk in the face. Huge shout out to Chunkaloon for paying a visit. What a real one. After hours upon hours, we finally achieved 76 fishing. Our time at the Hosidius Peninsula had seemingly come to an end, for now. After everything was said and done, we finished this grind with 8,127 trout, 5,367 salmon, and 6,004 lobsters. I'm going to hold off on completing the shark tasks until I can do both of them, meaning we've got some serious cooking to do. With that being said, the stench of all these fish in the bank is starting to get a bit overwhelming, and it's time to heat things up. Sitting at 58 cooking now, we've got 1,758,548 XP to go until we reach the ability to cook a raw shark. Thankfully, between the 3 major stacks of fish in the bank, we should have just enough, sitting at 1,772,400 experience waiting for us and ready to go. Fortunately for Jose, he won't burn any trout once hitting 49 cooking, meaning we will have 100% success rate with the trout, as well as the salmon since we've already reached the cooking level in which we won't be burning any of those either. The fly fishing yields will easily bring us to 74 cooking, where we won't be burning any lobsters. The arduous task of just cooking for hours on end is staring us right in the face, so all we can do is begin cooking our fish, one inventory at a time. And another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. I find long skilling grinds like this definitely challenging as a content creator, because it's important to me that I make these videos as worthwhile as possible, though on the other hand, if I do too much backtracking and miss too many clips enveloped into the monotony, I don't think it feels as immersive, and hundreds of hours of grinding gets delivered into a 4-minute video. Not really worth waiting for, you know? It's tough to determine just how to portray standing in the same exact spot for hundreds of hours in an entertaining way. The music thing has already been established by others, and I wouldn't be making anything very pleasant to the ear anyway. I've done a few small montages for some of the previous grinds we've taken part of, but YouTube analytics tells me I need to get better at that because it seems to get skipped a lot. I could spout out fun facts and lore about Hosidius, our main man's hometown, but who really wants to hear about how there was an agreement that half of each of the Great Kourend city's lands be granted to Hosidius in order to grow more crops to stop a famine long ago, making it by far the largest city in the Great Kourend anyway. If you can't tell, I'm clearly trying to stall you until I can show you the milestone of 60 cooking that Jose has just achieved. I'm running out of ideas to keep this bit going, and to make matters worse, I am stuck in this tavern where I can't help but eavesdrop on the most nonsensical and repetitive conversation that I've ever witnessed, featuring a babbling drunk farmer reliving his agricultural glory days, as he tries to impress this broad that only knows 3 phrases and can't actually contribute to a conversation. God help me. Seriously though, has anyone ever just sat and observed the drunken stupors all of these NPCs are in? There wasn't a moment of silence, but there wasn't a single chat line of substance appearing over any of their heads. The process became so mind-numbing that I literally would make trips from the bank empty-handed. There is a silver lining though, as cooking is one of the fastest skills that can be trained, stacking up the XP and income 62 cooking. The close proximity to the bank is something I've appreciated through the fly fishing grind and now the cooking grind. The one pitfall we'll face through our cooking endeavor is the small window of availability I can actually catch any random events. Since we will miss the opportunity if we're in the bank, and if I happen to miss this random spawn as I enter the bank, it'll despawn immediately, which I've already experienced a couple different times. I'm on a brutal streak of like 9 randoms in a row that didn't provide a lamp, and I am itching for that next hunter level. I managed to catch one here, though these frog tokens won't be earning us any XP for quite some time, as that will have to wait until we're able to step foot into Varrock. Here comes 64 cooking, and 65 cooking, and 66 cooking. We finished cooking all of our trout and reached level 60 cooking in the process, though we still have more than 11,000 fish to cook, as we began to put a dent in our stock of salmon. This building smells rather scrumptious, I must say. We didn't waste any time, putting in hours upon hours on mobile and PC through the holidays to hone our culinary craft. The power of editing really shrinks this grind on the surface, as while we are looking at massive progress over the course of minutes, this in reality was our most time-consuming chunk yet, as this process would take over 2 months to complete. Granted, the holidays, some traveling I did, and the main channel definitely put a dent into how much time we could give our boy Jose. Nonetheless, we had finished the last of the salmon. With just over 6,000 lobsters remaining, the end is in sight, and we may just get out of here. This room was sizzling for hours, and my stomach is really growling at this point. And during a grind, I don't always have time to make meals for my wife and I. So that's why I love using Just kidding, no plugs here. It's been quite some time since we've been blessed with an experience-bearing random event, and I am hurting for some good fortune. Our dry spell continues as we are paid a visit by the Pillory Guard, and brought to a cell in Varrock. Doesn't he know this is a One Chunk account? We get away with an uncut sapphire, in which I decide to sacrifice one of our mini lobsters to bring this back to the bank. With another inventory of lobsters down, we've gotten up to 79 cooking. We've reached the last leg of the cooking grind. Less than 1,600 lobsters remain. Farming level, by the way. We've finally come across a random event that we're looking for. The mysterious old man brought us in for a mime show, and while this lamp didn't award us with our next hunter level, the dry spell has ended, and that feels real good. However, we would fortunately receive another random event not long after, and this beekeeper would hand us the lamp that will bring our hunter skill up to level 9. We're down to our final 500 lobsters. It's time to get busy. Oh. Oh, this kitchen is hot. So hot. I need some water. Where's the water? Oh god, it tastes horrible. Folks, 19,498 fish have been successfully cooked. What? I never said I was going to stop doing the montages. The time has come. After over 6 days of in-game time, we have achieved the necessary levels to not just catch a raw shark, but to cook it to edible condition as well. It's time we once again pay a visit to a familiar peninsula. After all of the hours of grinding, our true test of patience was waiting to catch the first shark. It's been a long time coming, but we have finally caught the raw shark. And this bad boy is ready for the fryer, or range, I suppose. The decision was made to fill our inventory, stuffed with sharks. Might as well come back with a full haul, right? I think it's fitting to cook the shark in the chunk that has kept us busy for so long. After all, I touted that this chunk was going to lock us away, only to never really step foot in it after taking care of the early tasks. The time has finally come, and to no surprise, we burned the first shark. We got it on the second try though, and I have been waiting quite some time to be able to say this, but with the raw shark caught and cooked, we can once again say, chunk complete. After our biggest grind yet, we are now free to roll another chunk, and unlock another tantalizing selection of tiles. However, freedom is no guarantee, with daunting rolls like the Fourthos dungeon and the Catacombs of Kourend fully equipped to lock me down once again. No more waiting, let's get rolling. We've escaped a perilous fate, for now. We've just unlocked the western piece of the southern shoreline of Hosidius. This will be an easy chunk, but not free. One diary task of collecting some saltpeter will be required before we can roll again. We take a quick stroll through the area, running by yet another bank chest that we've unlocked. More sand crabs are available as well. The interesting thing about this diary task is that while I do have access to the saltpeter, it rotates between 5 different mounds, and I only have access to 3 of these mounds, so we are stuck here for a little while until we can actually collect the goods. Big thanks to the imps in the area who happily kept us entertained for a while as we waited. So close, but so far. After about 15 minutes I decided to just start hopping worlds, eventually coming across a mound that was ready for us, and we can finally do what we came here for. The saltpeter will come in handy as we will be able to combine it with our existing compost to produce more super compost for a bit of farming XP as well. As we unload the saltpeter, Jose is ready to roll a new chunk. Oh man, it's time for the Fourthos dungeon. What is the Fourthos dungeon, you may ask? We're about to be introduced to the most dangerous and hostile environment that we've seen to this point. Dragons, spiders, and undead beings await us, armed with stinky attitudes. Not to mention, we'll be introduced to our first boss as well, Sarachnis. A long list of chunk tasks will keep Jose locked in here for the foreseeable future. The massive amount of food we just built up will definitely serve a purpose. For the duration of the account, things have been pretty mellow, but that's all about to change. I'd be naturally inclined to end the episode here, but it's been a while since we've been able to upload a video, and this video has largely been a recap of fishing and cooking, so let's go take our first look into the dungeon. I've also changed over to the stretched mode, hopefully that enhances the viewing perspective. Let me know what you think in the comments. Your feedback feeds Jose's family, but don't ask about them though. There's such a long list of combat related tasks for this chunk, it's almost overwhelming. 7 different monsters await slaughter, most notably Sarachnis. Now if you've been watching the series, you might remember this. We are right next to Sarachnis, though technically not quite in the same chunk, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how it totally works, we'll talk about that in the future. The future has arrived, and let's talk about it. Here's my solution. I'm going to knock out every task in the dungeon before technically unlocking the Sarachnis chunk. Once we collect our spoils from the 6 main mobs found here, we'll become knocking on the web of Sarachnis. Jose is no stranger to combat, but this harsh environment will be unlike anything we've seen thus far. It's not going to be a walk in the park, but the Great Kourend needs us. Jose jumped right in, seeking smoke from whoever would bring it. We began to knock out our slaughter list, beginning with the temple spiders. This may end up being an AFK combat training method we utilize that would be much more fruitful than sand crabs, so we might come back here later. We slash our way through some webs to find the undead druids. These guys are pretty beefy, but as long as I've got prayer, it's a non-issue. Well, turns out these guys actually hit like trucks, and we're going to need to come up with a different approach. We're going to be busting out some magic to handle these druids. During my time with the Lesser Demon, I totally overlooked the elemental weakness update that was implemented into the game a while back, but I'm not missing out on this time. The druids have a 50% weakness to fire spells, and I'm prepared for a fierce battle. Well, this works too, honestly. These kills are not quick, and we took a brief intermission to not only grab some pineapples, but further prepare for the task at hand as well. Before diving back into the dungeon, we took care of some of the skeletons nearby, marking what will likely be one of the only times we come into this area with real purpose. Can't forget the wolves over here either. The final 2 monsters on this slaughter list are the variations of the red dragons that reside down here. The babies shouldn't be too difficult to handle, but the grown dragons are going to give me problems. As expected, the baby dragon didn't pose much of a threat, but I gotta say, for how daunting the red dragons were seeming, we were hitting really well, and this safe spot is coming in clutch. Aside from the slight annoyances from the babies, this spot seems pretty clutch. The red dragon is down, and maybe this dungeon won't be so bad after all. However, that's going to do it for this episode. Like and subscribe to Root Jose on. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take it easy.